Welcome to a Fblthp deck tech.
This video, we're going to show you how to build around the strongest character in all of Magic. I'm your host, Beezy.
I'm the guy saying it second, Joe Cherries, and together, we're the Nitpicking Nerds.
Before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel, because subscribers to our channel are 10% more likely to find Fblthp.
Disclaimer, subscribing to the Nitpicking Nerds will not help you find a fictional character.
What do we have for him today, Joe?
Today, we're going to try and put Fblthp into the deck. And we're going to find him, and that's the goal. And that is the fun of this deck. It's finding a lost homunculus. How is that not fun?
Poor little guy.
Look at this. Look what I can do. Poke. Poke him in the eye.
Oh, no. He didn't need that. I'm going to read them for you. Fblthp the Lost. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 legendary creature, homunculus. When Fblthp the Lost enters the battlefield, draw a card. If it entered from your library or was cast from your library, draw 2 cards instead. When Fblthp becomes the target of a spell only, shuffle Fblthp into its owner's library. What? It's pretty weird.
This card is really weird.
Brand new from War of the Spark, by the way, in case you thought this was not.
Even weirder, he's super flavorful. But I don't know that he is flavorful because there's an extra benefit to losing him. What's the benefit to losing him?
You come back with more knowledge. Like, oh, oops, I'm in March of the Multitudes, but now I know about them.
That's fair. He was in captive audience, so now he knows more.
He's just like, he's better for having traveled. Everyone loves traveling.
Yeah,
You just can't control it. So before we can recast Fblthp, we got to shuffle him in the first place.
So our first category is shuffling in Fblthp.
Now, the only problem comes when you target him with a spell that only targets one creature. Let's say I cast Unsummon on Fblthp. Now, I target him, he shuffles in, but now Unsummon fizzles, which means if a spell has no targets as it's being cast or before it resolves, then it just doesn't, it gets countered, nothing happens.
A card can't resolve if it has no legal targets.
True. So we need things that target 2 permanents or a spell and a permanent so that the spell still resolves and we still actually get something and we don't just pay one whole card to shuffle our commander into our library.
So let's start with a good example of a card that can do that, can give you value and put your commander in your library. We have Essence Capture. Blue for an instant, counter target creature spell. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control.
So you get to 1 for 1 and then also shuffle your commander in.
Yes, so it's a bonus on top of that. 1 for 1's not that great, but counting spells not the worst.
This card's fine.
And then on top of that, you get to put the commander back in.
You get to start the search.
Let's move on to our next card.
Shall we? Peel from Reality, which just makes me think of like you're peeling something or a banana peel. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. Return target creature you control and target creature you don't control to their owner's hands. So this is Unsummon, but it doesn't fizzle when you target just Fblthp. This is probably the worst one, but it's really cheap, and you can bounce a big thing. It's not that bad, really.
Yeah, and you get to get someone really mad. Say someone plays, like, they're real big, like, they spend 12 mana on something.
Yeah, like, I don't know, Kuro Pitlord, or, I don't know, like...
What a weird choice.
Razaketh with no other creatures in play. Let's do that one.
Or how about Seki?
Seki Seasons Guide. Ugh, okay.
They play their Seki Seasons Guide, and you peel from reality and put Fblthp in your deck.
Yeah, boom! Gotcha.
Hashtag get wrecked.
This next card is so much better than both of the other ones we've mentioned.
Mystic Confluence. 3 blue instant. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. Be careful with this one. You cannot target the man himself and draw 2 cards, because if a card only has 1 legal target and that target goes away, the spell fizzles.
True. We do not want this spell especially to fizzle. You can play yourself.
Yeah. So you want to go. So you always want to be, if you're countering a spell,
counter draw bounce.
Counter draw bounce. We'll get it there.
Bounce draw.
Yep. You just can't go bounce the man himself. Draw 2.
Draw 3 also works. That's real fun. Yeah, if you haven't tried that one.
You could do that one, but we're trying to put our commander deck. That's the point.
We are trying to do that. But hey.
I think you missed the point. We're trying to put our commander in our deck.
I just don't get it. Curse of the Swine. X blue. Sorcery. Exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller puts a 2/2 green boar creature token onto the battlefield. Spoiler alert, They don't want those. They want their fatties and their utility creatures. But we don't care. And Fblthp can't be replaced by a boar. He just gets lost instead.
He's constantly getting lost. He gets put back into your deck. He can't die. I love that this card just like...
He just like... This lady's trying to curse him and make him a pig, and he just like gets lost instead.
Like, the only way that he dies is if there's a huge, like, catastrophe. Like, a Wrath of God. Like, if the Wrath of
God himself has to intervene to kill Fblthp.
Yeah.
And sometimes even then.
Yeah, and, like, there's some, like think of, like, Gideon's Reproach. Gideon could punch him straight in the eyeball, and he just runs away.
No, he swings his fist, but in the meantime, Fblthp gets lost. Where'd he go?
Hero's Downfall, like, the giant Minotaur's about to step on him, he's just gone.
And he's like, oh, he must have wandered off, that rascal.
This man is hard to get rid of. So,
all right, but that's how we get him lost. But now we need to... It's time to come back home, buddy. It's time to come back home.
So now that we've lost him, why don't we try and find him?
Fair enough.
Well, a lot of these cards that we're finding are what we'd call bread and butter for Fblthp.
This is us buttering bread. It's not just like rubbing our hands.
Yeah, it's us buttering bread. There's also probably, as I like to just point out what's going to be in the screen, there's probably a picture of butter right there.
You love saying what they're already seeing.
I love saying what they're seeing.
But with all this bread and butter, it makes you kind of hungry for a gourmet bagel, i.e. the best card in the entire deck, which is somehow Proteus Staff. Why don't you read Proteus Staff?
3-mana artifact. 2 and a blue, tap it. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. That creature's controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card. That player puts that card into play and the rest on the bottom of his or her library in any order. Play this ability only at a time you could play a sorcery.
Two major things here. One, spoiler alert, Fblthp is the only creature in our deck.
Yep.
So if you staff Fblthp, guess what? You find Fblthp.
Yep.
And now you've looked at your entire deck, and it says put the cards back in any order.
This is
Scry 90.
This is classic old wording.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Scry 90. It's better. It's way better.
I don't know what it is. But
maybe it is Scry 90 because you can put Scries back now.
Scry 90.
It is Scry your whole deck. So it's real weird.
You get to set up whatever you want, and even better, Fblthp comes in from your deck, and you will draw 2 cards. So you get 2 of any cards in your deck right away.
It'll double demonic tutor.
Yeah, like what the heck? It's actually pretty strong.
If you have this card in Fblthp out, it's really strong.
There's ways to go infinite. We have some more fun ways to go infinite.
We'll get into that in a little bit. This is still the best card in the deck, even if you're not trying to...
We're having fun. Fun mostly.
Yes. Even if you're not trying to win. Just drawing your best the 2 cards you want.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Fun. It's like, oh, I need a board wipe. Well, here's Curse of the Swine, or I need a
Cyclonic Rift.
Creature Swift. Yeah, a Cyclonic Rift, or like Crush of Tentacles is in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's all about fun with this deck. And, again, there's ways to make this competitive, but we're not going to competitive.
Who's ever going to get mad at you for finding Fblthp? Like, oh, you found him. That makes me so angry. I can't even say that.
I love that you put him in your deck, and he comes back no matter what. I love, like, he gets lost, and then immediately gets found again.
Oh, you know what? I'm good. We're good. I'm back here. Next one is Polymorph. 3 and a blue for a sorcery. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Its controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card. The player puts the card onto the battlefield, then shuffles all other cards revealed this way into his or her library. So they fixed it. This is fair wording.
Well, that's much more appropriate wording.
So they fixed it. It shuffles your library now. And you can't target Fblthp with it. So that's why we have some token makers in the deck.
We have like 4-man lands.
Like the Retrofitter Factory or whatever it's called. Foundry.
Trader Post.
Trading Post. There's man lands. Inkmoth Nexus can kill people in this deck.
Blinkmoth. They're both in the deck. Mutavault.
Just ways so that this isn't terrible. It also is 4-mana like Bad Terminate if you really need it.
Yeah, it is 4-mana Bad Terminate if you need it.
But it could be 4-mana Find Fblthp.
Yeah, which is what we want this to be.
That's all we care about.
Only creature in the deck. We're not looking for anyone else.
We don't need anyone else. We have our man. We just need to find him.
I love the idea of so it's hard to find him usually. Like they have a lot of trouble finding him. The Azorius have been looking for it for a while.
They have.
So the idea that you've made it easy by there's no one else around. How can you not find him? He's the only person there.
Oh, it's this barren plain. Like, wait, what's that? That's him over there. Get over here.
Why aren't you over here?
That's a funny image that we just made.
Like he's just standing alone,
like a desert plain, and he's like, Fblthp, get over here.
Next one we got here, Senseis Divining Top. 1 mana for an artifact. Pay 1. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Tap, draw a card, and then put Senseis Divining Top on top of its owner's library. This lets you juggle Fblthp on top of him. So if like you shuffle him in,
if you're not ready to find him,
yeah, you don't want to draw him. You really don't. If you want to draw Obvious Visionary, sure, but you really want to be playing him out of your deck.
That's the achievement.
Just keep
wait until you can
keep putting him down third. Maybe play something to shuffle your deck so you can get him in there deeper.
Something. You gotta find this man, but not this way. Don't just draw him.
Don't draw him. That's not finding him.
Future Sight though is for winners. 2 blue for an enchantment. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library, so that includes lands. And I checked the rules for it. It does include Fblthp.
Oh, does it?
Yes, you can cast Fblthp.
Is that in the Oracle text?
It is not, but it's an errata that Wizards had to release after War of the Spark.
Okay, so currently it can't, but in the future,
as soon as Fblthp's legal, you can cast Fblthp.
They actually didn't even tell us that. We actually had Future Sight and we were able to tell.
Alright, we've got a mono blue deck here. Some people aren't playing all of the cards that we necessarily think they should.
Yeah. So mono blue, we're going to talk about our mono blue staples and flavor.
Our spice, and then there's a couple flavors that we need to include for Fblthp, since this is a fun deck.
Let's talk about some of the staples first. What's our first?
Our mono blue like staples cards. We're always going to play in a mono blue deck.
We're going to play them in most mono blue decks.
The first one, I didn't think would be that good. Turns out it's insane in mono blue. Flow of Ideas is 5 and a blue for a sorcery. Draw a card for each island you control. Scales with the game.
Yeah. You cast this. You can even cast this on turn 6. Draw 6. That's already insane.
Yeah. I've drawn 5, 9, 13 with this, and it's just like one low cost of 6. Blue Sunseeds can't do that. I think this card's really good. You should try it if you have not tried it.
I haven't tried this card yet, but I would like to try it in maybe.
You've seen it though. You've lost to it.
Some sort of homunculus deck.
Leave him alone.
No.
Thematic Compass is the next one. Read it, Joe.
Thematic Compass. 2 for an artifact. Pay 3, tap. Search your library for a basic land. Put that card in your hand. Then shuffle your library. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, transform Thematic Compass.
Transforms into Spires of Orazca, which is a land that taps for a wingding. Or you can tap it to untap target attacking creature an opponent controls and remove it from combat.
So we got Maze of Ith that can tap for mana.
We got 2 mana land ramp that finds you basics and then turns into Maze of Ith. Does everything. Keeps you alive. That's everything.
This card's very, very good. Have we talked about this card much on the channel? I feel like we haven't.
It's in our underrateds. We're planning on it. It's like
I feel like this is a card that we don't talk about enough because
it's in a lot of our decks.
I am a huge fan of this card.
It just basically Farseek and then it's a removal spell.
Once you're not, I feel like when you leave green, this card goes in.
Just goes way up. Like
many decks.
They have to give me a reason it's not in the deck when I'm not playing green.
But, I mean, if it's a competitive deck, that's a reason.
I mean, sure, but like it's insane. It's strong. We recommend it for sure.
Highly recommended. All right, next one, mission briefing. BZ, give it a read.
I shall. Mission briefing is blue for an instant. Surveil 2, which means look at the top 2 cards of your library and then put them back in any order, and you may put any number of them into your graveyard. Then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. If that card would be put into your graveyard, exile instead. 2 mana Snapcaster variant. Can be better. Helps you churn through your library. It's a really good card.
Yeah.
It's better than it looks because it doesn't give it flashback. So something like, let's say, Commandeer, you can cast from your graveyard by exiling 2 blue cards. Pay alternate costs.
Or an example that's in the deck, how about?
Cyclonic Rift.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Cyclonic Rift in the deck. Yes, you can cast it for its alternative cost of Overload, which is a good thing. This card I don't think is better than Snapcaster. I just think it's still very close.
Depends on your deck.
And I think if you want a Snapcaster in your deck and the price is driving you away, just hop on this card.
Snap off that budget.
I would,
pun intended.
Also, I would get this card now while it's still under $10.
Because I could see it being unreasonable in the future.
I feel like it's like $2 or $3.
It's not expensive. It's definitely under $5.
Yeah, get it while it's that cheap because I feel like it's going to be a $10, $15 card for you.
We're doing you a favor. You're going to thank us.
Yeah, you are going to thank us.
You're also going to thank us after Joe reads the Murari Conjecture, which is one of our underdog, like, we never thought this card would be good. But then I tried it, and it's really good.
Oh, it turns out this card's actually really, really good. Let's give it a read. The Murari conjecture. 4 and a blue for a saga. Sagas are weird. So when it enters, it does the first thing. Then at each of your next main phases, it does the other 2. And after the third one, it will go to your graveyard. So the first thing it does is return target instant from your graveyard to your hand. Number 2, return target sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Number 3, until the end of turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Common play pattern with this card is you play it on like turn 6 or 7, and you get back a counter spell. So it's like I have Arcane Denial or Swan Song if you want to try to destroy my conjecture. I already got a 1-for-1, so if it dies, it's not the worst thing ever. You'll end up with a card, and they spent 1 for 1. But mostly people just don't want to try to kill it because you know that you're going to protect it.
I always try and kill it.
Yeah, you should. And then you get a sorcery back, so now you're up 2 cards. And then if it gets to the ultimate, that can win games. Not so much here, but it definitely can win games.
Yeah, there's like you casting a cantrip when your spells are doubled feels insanely
Yeah,
good.
like I cast a Preordain. I was like, is the game over, guys? Well, what am I doing here?
Preordain, draw a card, or scry 2, draw a card. Scry 2, draw a card.
Nothing beats flow of ideas with this.
Full of ideas, draw,
Oh, yeah.
draw 17. Don't ask me how it got odd.
Control an odd number of islands.
Draw 7. Yeah, but you're casting 2 copies of it.
Ah!
So it could never be odd.
That is the staples. Now we are on to the flavor, if you will.
Flav.
So I'm going to read the first one. Statute of Denial. 2 blue for an instant. Counter target spell. So, it's okay. If you control a blue creature, draw a card, then discard a card.
Hold on.
That's unlikely unless we control Fblthp. But hey,
Hold on.
what's that in the bottom right corner?
Be quiet. What are you even talking about? What was all that text? There's a man in the bottom left right hand corner. That's all that matters.
In the sewer or something.
He's lost in some sort of sewer or something.
He's watching. He's so close to the Azorius. They almost found. If this guy would have just turned around instead of being a jerk and pooping on that guy's fireworks, he would have found Fblthp. Yep. So close.
So close. Close, but no cigar. Now, I don't know why B's even bothered reading that last one. I'm just not going to read this one because it doesn't matter what it does.
It's Commander Staple. You know what it does.
If this card cost 10 mana and did nothing, it would be in the deck.
Yeah.
This is the best art I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
From a flavor perspective.
Sure.
Really like
From goofiness.
Well, from absolute goofiness. So this man gets lost all the time. He is on top of the statue of Nicol Bolas.
Yes.
How did he get there?
He's totally lost.
He's so lost. Like he wandered around.
He had to climb.
And he doesn't know. He doesn't know how he got there. It looks like.
Right. He's just like, wait, what? Where's all the ground?
Right. For a quick mention, this card is super cool. Him being on the statue is cool. What is the art for the actual card that he is on? It is horrifyingly bad.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we want to necessarily call people out. But
No.
we hate the artwork.
No, it's bad. I don't
Like, we just don't like it.
In my opinion, it is bad artwork.
Right. We know Bolas's body goes from really, like, he's got broader shoulders, and then he gets skinnier in the middle, and it's like, when did they replace his body with, like, a Jenga block? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the people who were building it had one block, and they didn't
they're
feel like
like-
doing much work.
Well, they were, like, slaves, so
They're like, yeah.
he's like, build me a statue. Like, fine, it's going to look like crap. You're not my boss.
Yeah, and the editors really captured it.
Yeah, they
spot on.
nailed it. And that brings us from humble beginnings into the winning the game category.
Yep, and we win the game mainly with our boy Proteus Staff.
And Fblthp. Don't forget him.
Well, you need him, but you always have him.
You need him to jump through the hoops to win the game that you could just be doing.
Now,
Anyway,
why don't you show us these hoops?
I will show you the hoops. Senseis Divination, Future Sight, and Helm of Awakening. Now I'll just read Helm because you know what the other 2 are. Helm is a 2-mana artifact that says all spells cost 1 generic less to cast. So this allows you to draw your entire deck because Senseis Divination is going to end up costing 0. So here's what you do. You have 9 mana and Fblthp, or a token. You're going to activate Proteus Staff on the token or Fblthp, turn it into Fblthp, and that lets you draw, once you rearrange your deck, you draw Helm and Future Sight with top as the next card. You cast Helm for 2. Now, Future Sight's going to cost 4, so you cast it for 4. And now, top is the top card of your deck. You can play it. It costs 0. Now you activate top to draw a card, put top back on top. Still costs 0. Play for 0. Draw. Now you have 2, and top's back, and you're right where you started. So you draw your entire deck.
Yep. You just need to get out one of your win cons once you draw your...
So there's a couple options now. Now that we've spent 9 mana, you can choose to draw an arbitrary number of cards or wait till your next turn before you draw your whole deck. So you're going to have Jace, Wielder of Mysteries in the deck, which has Laboratory Maniac text on it. And if you check the tapped out link, that's Labman is supposed to be Jace. We didn't get an altar for that one. There are no creatures in this deck. So you can draw your whole deck, just win on the spot. Right there.
Yes, you can't. You actually can't put Laboratory Maniac in this deck.
No, it's terrible. Don't do that.
It'll ruin your deck. You need to instead put in Jace, Wielder of Mysteries.
That's real weird because it's a new card that we wanted to try. I was like, you have to play it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to because you need to replace... You cannot have a creature in this deck.
Yeah, you can't go for this win and then to be like, But if you don't have Jace for some reason, Nexus of Fate is in this deck. So if Nexus of Fate is the last card in your deck, or you discard a hand size or what have you, you won't mill.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. And then once you have Nexus of Fate, weirdly, you're going to take extra turns and literally attack people with Fblthp. Or you have like Inkmoth Nexus in the deck to do that, or mill them out with Jace.
These are our win
But you have Jace, so you just win. Yeah, that's what we're working with.
Yeah, this deck is cool. This deck is so cool.
Yeah, those are really like nonsensical, but it feels very Fblthpian. And if you want nonsense, we've got it in the next WinCon.
Oh my goodness. Talk about nonsense. So now we've activated Proteus Staff. We can organize our deck how we want. What card would we like to draw next?
Well, if we don't want to do the first thing, we can get...
We can't. Let's just say
they
something
surgically
happened.
extracted it, as we like to say.
Yeah, it got surgically extracted.
Yes. We would like Goblin Char Belcher, please. Goblin Char Belcher is a 4-mana artifact, and then you can pay 3 and tap it to reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land. Char Belcher deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed this way to target creature or player. If the revealed land was a mountain, it deals double. And then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, which is really funny because we can put 40 lands in a row, 40 non-lands in a row.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, put 40 non-lands before you put 40 lands.
That's much better because
put the 40 lands on the bottom.
Yes, the 40 or ever how many lands are on the bottom, so you just dome somebody for 40, and then like
does this have to be the sorcery speed?
No.
Oh my god, you can just hold this up.
It's like Aetherflux Reservoir. You're just like.
Somebody's
Do something.
Do something. I'll kill you. I'll kill you if you do anything.
Another sweet thing with this, you can when you staff Fblthp for himself, you can draw Ghostly Flicker and this card. Ghostly Flicker can exile 2 creatures, artifacts, lands. So you can exile Fblthp and this guy. And this artifact. It doesn't need to be Fblthp. And a land. So it untaps it. Basically.
You know what? I already regret. And now, we didn't put High Tide in this deck because we were trying to make it as a higher font.
High Tide's kind of like...
I'm already regretting it because like these combos are 4,000 mana.
They're 4,000 mana, but this deck is a slow machine. They know what's going to happen. They know they're going to die to Goblin, Char Belcher, and Commander, and they can't do anything about it.
It's so cool.
You got counter spells to protect it. It's not impossible.
Goblin Char Belcher.
Yes, Goblin.
That's a real card. That's a real win con in this deck. I would have told you if you told me 2 weeks ago you're going to put Goblin Char Belcher in one of your deck decks.
No, in your mono blue deck.
On your mono blue deck.
We would have slapped ourselves in the face.
I would have said, no, you're wrong. You're just wrong.
You're just wrong.
You're allowed to be wrong, and that's fine.
But that is our deck, and that is how we win. So hopefully, you've learned that Fblthp's a little bit stronger than maybe you had first thought. Maybe any of us had predicted. He's just this power level that you just can't even really overstate.
Imagine. So now I just want to use like a spell that makes him bigger, like a giant growth. Like I want to imagine like, you know, Rita Repulsa throws her staff down to make her monster grow.
Yeah.
Magic wand! Make my monster grow!
Now imagine that's Fblthp.
Well, she wouldn't know where to throw it. By the time the staff went from the moon to Earth,
to be fair, she throws it in the same location every single. It doesn't seem to matter.
She throws a staff. Is it a Proteus staff?
She throws her Proteus staff from the moon, from her base on the moon, all the way to Earth. Always hits the same location.
The ground keeps coming back. Yeah. I don't know how deep we want to go on that.
We've already gone deep, and now imagine that growing is Fblthp. Until he looks like a Power Rangers villain. He really does.
Yeah, because he looks like he was made in 5 minutes
like he
by some sketch artist.
Like, and he looks like if he went like this, you would think he was getting bigger, even though they just made buildings around him to make him seem bigger.
My child is coming back to life. Special shout-outs to our 3 patrons, Joseph Ambitu, Dustin St. Wright, and Tyler Bunn. And if you want to mail us dollar bills like they do, check out the link in the description. Patreon.com/nitpickingnerds.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.